Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now. Fans of the Canadiens, I have to tell you, the NHL landscape is buzzing with some of the most intriguing rumors and potential moves we've seen in recent years. And it all revolves around one of the biggest stars in the league, Sidney Crosby. Yes, you heard right. The Penguins' captain, a household name for decades, might be on the verge of making a shocking move that could reshape the entire conference, and naturally, as Canadiens fans, we're paying close attention. Now, why is this such a big deal for us? Well, Crosby has been a Pittsburgh icon, loyal, relentless, a leader who has carried that franchise through thick and thin. But the reality is, the Penguins are not looking like they'll be playoff contenders this season, and with just 2 years remaining on Crosby's current contract, speculation about his future is reaching a fever pitch. What makes this story even more compelling is that insiders are pointing out that Crosby's next destination might not be where many initially guessed. Yes, the Montreal Canadiens, the team he grew up rooting for, are definitely in the mix. Imagine the scene: Crosby, returning to his roots, wearing the Canadiens sweater, bringing that leadership, that experience, and that hunger for one more Stanley Cup run. But hold on, it's not just Montreal that's eyeing the possibility. According to some insiders, another team might be in the mix, a team that's been a perennial powerhouse lately, none other than the Colorado Avalanche. That's right, the Avalanche, a team loaded with talent like Nathan MacKinnon, who's not only a superstar but also a close friend and international teammate of Crosby. Picture this: Crosby and MacKinnon, reunited in Denver, forming a line that could be unstoppable, a duo that would strike fear into every opponent in the league. Both players share roots in Nova Scotia, and their chemistry on the international stage has always been evident. They've played together in multiple tournaments for Team Canada, including the Four Nations Face-Off and the upcoming 2025 IIHF World Championship. The idea of Crosby joining Colorado isn't just a pipe dream. It's a serious possibility that insiders say is being discussed behind closed doors. And it's not just about the player himself. It's about the teams and the decisions that will shape the future of the league. Now, if you're wondering how this all came to light, it's worth mentioning that NHL insider Pierre LeBrun recently reported for The Athletic that Crosby's future isn't solely in the hands of general managers or team owners. No, this is a decision that Crosby, along with his longtime agent Pat Brisson, is actively involved in. LeBrun emphasizes that the process is driven by Crosby and Brisson, not just NHL executives like Kyle Dubas or others. This is a player-led decision, which makes it even more intriguing because Crosby has always been known for his leadership and his desire to win. And let's be honest, at this stage of his career, winning another Stanley Cup is probably his biggest priority. LeBrun points out that Crosby's close friend and teammate, Nathan MacKinnon, would be thrilled to have him join the Avalanche. Imagine the kind of chemistry they could develop in Denver, building on their international success and shared hockey history. It's this kind of synergy that makes the rumors so compelling. But of course, nothing is set in stone yet. The process involves a lot of subtle whispers, nudges from NHL teams, and strategic discussions that aren't always visible to us fans. But what we do know is that Crosby's agent, Pat Brisson, recently confirmed that Crosby wants to win the Stanley Cup at least once more before he hangs up his skates. He's quoted as saying, "We want Sidney to hopefully be in the playoffs every year. We want him to hopefully win another cup or two." That's a clear indication that Crosby's focus isn't just on personal achievements, but on adding to his legacy with another championship. And let's face it, at 36 years old, every season counts, and the window for that elusive third Stanley Cup is closing fast. So it's not surprising that the rumors are swirling about potential destinations. Now, let's add some context here. The Montreal Canadiens, as you all know, have been rebuilding steadily over the past few seasons. They've been focusing on developing young talent, making smart draft choices, and trying to build a team that can compete again for the Stanley Cup in the near future. But as much as the Canadiens are focused on their future, the possibility of acquiring a player like Crosby would be a game changer. Imagine what his leadership, experience, and playoff pedigree could do for a team in transition. It would send a message to the entire league that Montreal is serious about competing again at the highest level, and it would attract even more top-tier talent to the organization. Of course, there are hurdles. The Canadiens would need to maneuver around salary cap constraints, negotiate a trade package that makes sense for both sides, and convince Crosby that Montreal is the right place for him to chase that elusive third Stanley Cup before he calls it a career. But given the recent momentum and the strategic moves the Canadiens have been making, it's not out of the realm of possibility. They've shown that they're willing to make bold moves when the opportunity arises, and bringing in a veteran leader like Crosby could be exactly what the team needs to accelerate its rebuild. And let's not forget the fans. This kind of storyline would energize the Montreal fanbase like never before. The idea of Crosby skating at the Bell Center, wearing the CH sweater, and leading a young core to playoff glory would be a historic moment. For years, Canadiens fans have dreamed of seeing their team back on top, and adding Crosby to the mix could be the catalyst for a new era of success. It would be a story for the ages, one that combines the passion of a hometown hero with the relentless pursuit of Stanley Cup glory. But beyond the excitement, it's also a reminder of how dynamic this league truly is. Players like Crosby are not just legends, they're also strategic assets that can change the course of franchises in a heartbeat. The NHL is a league that constantly evolves, and the upcoming offseason could be one of the most transformative in recent memory. Teams are always looking for that missing piece, that veteran presence that can elevate the entire roster. And Crosby, with his leadership and skill, remains one of the most coveted pieces in the game today. So, for us Canadiens fans, this is a story worth watching closely. It's a reminder that the league is full of surprises, and that the future is always uncertain but full of potential. Whether Crosby ends up in Montreal, Colorado, or somewhere else, one thing is for sure: the next few months will be crucial. Trade deadline, free agency, and the offseason are all moments when dreams can become reality. And who knows? Maybe, just maybe, we'll see Sidney Crosby wearing the iconic red, white, and blue of the Canadiens sooner than we think. Now, I want to hear from you, my fellow Canadiens fans. What do you think about this potential move? Do you believe Crosby would be the perfect veteran leader to help steer this team back to Stanley Cup contention? Or do you think it's just another rumor that will fade away? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Montreal Canadiens. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for all the latest news, rumors, and analysis on your favorite team. This is the kind of story that keeps us all on the edge of our seats because, in hockey, anything can happen, and the next chapter could be just around the corner. Keep supporting the Canadiens, stay passionate, and let's see what the future holds for this storied franchise. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Canadiens!